Haley is not a conservative. Nikki Haley's a committed neoliberal, and it's measurable. For example, how many Republican primary voters support the wave of illegal immigration that is currently destroying our country? Not many do, but Nikki Haley does.
Earlier this week, you said that America has, quote, never been a racist country, unquote. Protections for the institution of slavery were written into the U.S. Constitution. The White House was built with slave labor. Your home state of South Carolina seceded from the Union, fought a war to defend the enslavement of black people. I understand you don't think America is a racist country now, but we're here at a college. Do you really think as a historical matter, America has never been a racist country?
I mean, think about what you're saying. First of all, I will tell you, when you look at, the Declaration of Independence, it was that, men are created equal with unalienable rights, right? That was what we all knew. But what I look at it as is I was a brown girl that grew up in a small rural town. We had plenty of racism that we had to deal with. But my parents never said we lived in a racist country. And I'm so thankful they didn't. Because for every brown and black child out there, if you tell them they live or were born in a racist country, you're immediately telling them they don't have a chance. And my parents would always say, you may have challenges. And yes, there will be people who are racist, but that doesn't define what you can do in this country. And so I think it's important that we tell all kids that, look, America is not perfect. We have our stains. We know that. But our goal should always be to make today better than yesterday. It's hugely important. And that's the problem I have is we have too many people with this national self-loathing. It is killing our country. We have got to go back to loving America. We are blessed because that little brown girl in that small rural town in South Carolina, she grew up to become the first female minority governor in history. She then went on to be UN ambassador, and now she's running for president of the United States. I want every brown and black child to see that and say, no, I don't live in a country that was formed on racism. I live in a country where they wanted all people to be equal and to make sure that they had life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Okay, but just to push back a bit, because I was a history major in New Hampshire, you're talking about the ideals of America. But America was founded institutionally on many racist precepts, including slavery.
But when you look at said all men are created equal, I think the intent was to do the right thing. Now, did they have to go fix it along the way? Yes, but I don't think the intent was ever that we were going to be a racist country. The intent was everybody was going to be created equally. And as we went through time, they fixed the things that were not all men are created equal. They made sure women became equal too. All of these things happened over time. But I refuse to believe that the premise of when they formed our country was based on the fact that it was a racist country to start with. I refuse to believe that. I have to know in my heart and in everybody's heart that we live in the best country in the world, and we are a work in progress. And we've never been a racist country. Our goal is to make sure that today is better than yesterday. Are we perfect? No. But our goal is to always make sure we try and be more perfect every day that we can. I know I faced racism when I was growing up, but I can tell you today is a lot better than it was then.
The entitlement, Social Security, Medicare. How would you manage the entitlements to try to start getting our arms around soaring debt?
Well, you've got multiple candidates on that stage that said they wouldn't touch entitlements, including Trump. And any candidate that says they're not going to touch entitlements means that they're basically going to go into office and then leave America bankrupt. Social Security is going to go bankrupt in 10 years. Medicare is going to go bankrupt in 8. So the way we deal with it is we don't touch anyone's retirement or anyone who's been promised in, but we go to people like my kids in their 20s when they're coming into the system and we say the rules have changed. We change retirement age to reflect life expectancy. Instead of cost of living increases, we do it based on inflation. We limit the benefits on the wealthy, and we expand Medicare Advantage plans.
What's the right age there then, Ambassador?
Well, I think we have to do the numbers. We've got to figure out what it is. But what we do know is 65 is way too low, and we need to increase that. We need to do it according to life expectancy.
Democrats are voting for Nikki Haley because, well, Nikki Haley is a Democrat, and Nikki Haley not only is a Democrat in her policies, she's a Democrat in her policies because she's a Democrat in her donations. How it works in politics, unfortunately, is the people who donate to you, they get policies out of it, right? So when Nikki Haley is advocating for forever war, when Nikki Haley is indistinguishable from Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden in what she represents and what she wants to do to this country, when Nikki Haley cries about racial hoaxes and cries about you calling illegal aliens criminals, the reason she's doing that is not because Nikki Haley actually believes anything. That would take moral backbone and some type of like intellectual honesty. She didn't have any of those things. Nikki Haley says and does those things because her donors are, in fact, Democrats.
Nikki Haley, what do you make of this?
Thanks for having me, Larry. It's true that Haley is flirting with independents and Democrats in a very unique way, but I think it's amazing that she thinks this is a one-on-one race with Trump right now. She's refusing to accept that she came in third place in Iowa. And frankly, her national message, not as appealing as Trump's. I think her hammering him now is a little bit late to the game. I think she's playing catch up. Ultimately, what she does is she mostly caters to this kind of fringe foreign policy message that doesn't really resonate with most Americans. Whereas Trump, his legacy was economic prosperity, and independents and moderates, they remember that. They really do. I mean, Bidenomics has failed astronomically. Nobody's buying it. And at the end of the day, I think people remember that, like you said, there was a booming economy. Credit card debt and household debt are soaring. People are mortgaging the future to afford today. Inflation is off the charts. So they're thinking about the economy. It's the economy, stupid, still holds. And Haley, there's a reason why Trump made her UN ambassador. Didn't leave her to domestic affairs.
That's why I read off. I mean, we'll get a full report on Biden's speech in North Carolina, but I had to read off a couple of numbers. We could have gone on, but Biden never speaks the truth about any of this stuff, including this phony, ultra phony 8% tax rate, where they're using a wealth tax on unrealized capital gains. It was never passed. It doesn't exist.
Welcome to the world of politics. The people behind Nikki Haley are pro-amnesty, they're pro-China, they're pro-open borders. You know, she wants open borders, don't kid yourself. Pro-war, and they're pro-Biden, because those are the people that are sending them. Biden people are coming in. They have Biden stuff, and they're coming in to register and to vote in your primary. It is crazy. You got to get that changed. We're going to take it. If we weren't popular, how do you win? Where everybody's allowed basically to come and vote. The enemy, which let's say in this case, until it's over, because you know the whole country is going to unify by its success. When we're successful, the country is going to be unified. We are going to unify our country through success. But right now, we don't want Democrats voting in the Republican primary, Sununu. Sununu ought to do that instead of walking around with Nikki Haley, and her polls go down every day. The radical left Democrats are supporting Nikki Haley because they know she's much easier to beat than Trump. And you know what? If she weren't, they wouldn't be doing it. But you know, they're great disinformation people. Misinformation, disinformation. You know, they're almost the same, but not quite. But let's not go into definitions right now. They're very close, actually. A lot of people still don't understand it, but I give them credit for both. But they are literally, what they're doing is they will say, we want to run against Trump so bad. In the meantime, they're sending all their people to vote for Nikki Haley. The reason they do that is they want to run against Nikki Haley. Usually when they say something, it's the opposite, okay? And they're very good at it, too. They're good at cheating in elections and disinformation. She runs around with one poll from 3 months ago. It's 3 months old. In fact, the paper is frayed on the outside.
Our democracy depends on you.
It really does, folks. That's no joke.
That's why we need you. We need your help to ensure Joe's leadership continues to guide us forward. We know the other side won't rest, so we can't either. Your donation will help give Joe and Kamala's campaign the resources it needs.
Let's make history again. Chip in now. Let's secure a brighter future together.
Megan McDowell.
And I'm Sean Duffy. Welcome to The Bottom Line.
How many lies can this White House tell before enough is enough?
I promise to be a president for all America, whether you voted for me or not.
You can put the emphasis on or not. With every passing month, it seems the migrants who cannot vote, who cannot work and provide for themselves are getting more attention from our government than the people funding it. You paid the price for the madness, literally.
Will you be taxing, adding a tax to help pay for this?
Well, I think people are clearly familiar with what my vision is for revenue in this city.
That's not a no. Cities, states, organizations all forced to make the decision, cough up more money or go broke.
Yeah, in New York, the governor wants $2.4 billion from the state's budget to go to the migrants in the Rotten Apple.
In Colorado, a hospital system on the verge of a breaking. As migrant costs rack up, Denver Health didn't get compensated for $136 million worth of services last year. A large part of that coming from illegal migrants. In just 1 year, the system saw 8,000 migrants who made about 20,000 visits.
So to put it into perspective, just how large the migrant crisis has become, take a listen to this.
We just passed a budget with $4 billion for border security that we shouldn't be paying, Bill. That's more money than 13 states have total budgets. The biggest states in America by population are California, Texas, Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and the state of illegal immigrants. That many illegal immigrants have come into this country since Biden's become president, more than any other state except those top 6 states that I mentioned. This is a catastrophe.